Welcome back to Absolutely! Ahead of our break, we are talking about Gen V and the boys. All right, Austin, what do you think?
10 out of 10, dude. I mean, look, I'm making no secret. I'm not a big fan of like gore violence, and it was always hard for me to get into the boys initially. But the storytelling is just phenomenal. Yeah, there are weaker story points and there are weaker story beats, but consistency overall. Visually, it's stunning, whether it's showing you the most gratuitous thing you've ever seen or just showing you like a really good superhero beatdown. I'll always attest that the greatest girl power moment in superheroes is not Avengers and Endgame when they're all lining up for no reason to go run.
The most staged moment ever.
Right. No, it's when Kimiko, Queen Maeve, and Starlight fight, what's her name? The the Nazi, when they fight the Nazi girl, and then they just start beating down back and forth. It's like an anime scene, honestly. So Gen V immediately, dude, it's fantastic. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's funny with the blood and gore. I'm not bothered at all by the blood and gore, but that was actually what I said in my problem with, which I'm finding hilarious. The people that just look at the problem with title and assume that he's going to be so negative when 90% of the time it's just an excuse title to get you to watch the video so I could just rant. But my point was that I feel like the problem with the boys and Gen V is that they're going to eventually cross that line for certain viewers. I mean, episode 4, we had the explosion. That'll be fun for Platt to censor out half the things I'm going to say in this.
Yeah.
But we had things like that, or like, Golden Boy exploding in episode 1 and things like that. Like, it is way over the top. And I wonder how far they're willing to go to just get that Twitter headline, that hashtag.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Here's the thing. I think they're fine because they've continued to maintain a level of quality in its storytelling that if it was just that and the substance went away and there wasn't this incredible ongoing mystery, like, don't you feel anxious when you watch the show in a way you don't when you watch like a Disney Plus series? Like, I don't feel safe with my characters. Yes. That's the other thing we're going to review today, which I also really loved. But with this, it's like, dude, Maria might die. I don't know her to be titular character enough to live. Well, Jordan Lee might die. Andre might die.
Let's compare this directly to Loki, because I actually have a good point from Loki. That was one of my biggest problems with Loki itself. Now, bear in mind, I loved Loki and I love Gen V. But you're right. There is a bit of tension. Is Marie going to die? Is Cricket
everyone going to die? Anyone is fair game.
Everyone's fair game. But watching Loki, when they were trying to make I won't go too deep into this because we're going to do a Loki episode in a minute. But they're trying to make you think Loki and Owen Wilson's character, Morbius, are going to die in the first one. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they're going to die. We have a whole season ahead of us.
And I'll counter it with, that was such a good pilot that, frankly, I was not putting on my, like, skeptic hat, or even, so because we do this for a job and because I'm, I make entertainment and I'm in movie and TV in the industry on some level. Like, I'm used to watching things now with, like, this, like, director's glasses or actor glasses. You know what I mean? Like, you pay attention to plot beats, so you're never scared of characters going to die. That one was such a masterful set piece that I think I was so immersed in it that I was just living in the stakes of the moment to moment. And then if I dial back, obviously there were no stakes. Obviously Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston aren't going anywhere. But Gen V, regardless of immersion, I feel that way. I feel anxious. They've managed to make a cast. The boys, the issue with the boys, and it's not an issue, it's what the show is built upon. No one is particularly that likable. You can root for Huey all you want.
I like Soldier Boy.
Yeah, well, we all love Jensen Ackles just putting on his Jensen Ackles voice. What did he say?
He was great.
Dude, my favorite scene, and Platt, sorry, you got to censor stuff. He slaps Huey in the face. Don't ever talk to me like that again. I'll rip you apart. And it's like, what, dude? My girlfriend's a big Supernatural head. And I was like, that's my Jensen Ackles. There's my Soldier Boy. Which he's supposed to be in Gen V. We haven't seen him yet, but he's supposed to be in Gen V.
Is he? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that's like a big Gen V because I like being surprised. Since I don't know where the boys is going, you just spoiled it for me. Thanks.
Sorry, dude. It was all part of their. It's literally the only thing they promoted on Twitter, so I saw it on Twitter. I didn't see the scene or the context or anything, just that he's in it. That was all I got. He might even just be like the same way that the Deep and Queen Maeve and the rest of them have been in it as background characters and as like statuettes, but. Yeah, man, I'm vibing with it. I like the characters. I was saying the boys makes all the characters really, really unlikable. Gen V, I mean, it starts with an air of that. Like Jordan Lee is immediately kind of irritating because they don't want to let Marie in the school, yada, yada, yada. But eventually, where we are now, 4 episodes in, I love all the main cast of characters. Like
Yeah.
genuinely love them individually and overall as a group.
I actually agree with that because when they first came in, I thought Cricket and Marie were going to be our main characters, and that the top 5 group, Jordan
Yeah, they're
and
like the
the
villains.
Golden Boy and what's the name of the I don't know all their names off my head, but all those characters were going to be the villains, but they're not. They're all really likable and they've all got great motivations. Even Golden Boy, who kicks off this entire series by blowing up and
Oh
trying to
my
kill
god,
people.
Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Is that who that is?
That's
Everyone,
Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. He was awesome. I was like, yeah, immediately like this is gonna be a bad guy, and then you get a couple scenes of him. You're like, oh, dude, I love him. I
yeah.
hope he doesn't commit suicide in a second. Oh man, but he was great. He was genuinely so fun. And then you're kind of left feeling like, oh man, that charisma's gone from the show now. This sucks. But then Andre comes in, and Andre is just as charismatic
Oh yeah.
as Golden Boy. Like they give him more to do. They show him in episode 1 flirting with girls.
He's the
accidentally
only one
slits
whose
his throat.
powers I'm a little confused on. Telekinesis or bending metals. Like it
He can
seems
control matter. I think that's what it is, right? It's
matter.
that like
Okay.
yeah, it's matter, but it requires focus that makes it look like telekinesis. Because then that lady like pushed his hand over and he slit the woman's throat or whatever. Um, his powers are cool though. I think his dad's name is Polaris. That's his dad's name. I don't know what. Maybe he's Polaris the Second or something like that. I don't know if
Okay.
we've gone into his superhero name. And then there's
Magnetism is what our chat is saying his power actually
it's
is.
magnetism. Is it
I,
just
that could
metal?
be. I
I
could
thought
see
he
that.
also did glass. Didn't he like bend the glass? Maybe I'm tripping, actually. I don't know.
So he's just
Polarity,
Magneto. Maybe he is just Magneto.
whatever. His powers look sick, and I
Yeah.
love it. It looks awesome. I keep forgetting the girl's name. Golden Boy's girlfriend, now Andre's girlfriend.
Oh, the one who can just suggest things and people
Dude,
have to
I
do it?
actually love her too. Like that immediately, I was like, oh, mean pretty girl, mean hot girl trope has
As I
just
said, I
walked
thought
in
they
the
were
door.
going to be the tropey popular kids of the school. No one was going to want to deal with them.
Oh, and immediately they come back swinging. And I love the reveal that Andre and Marie stopped freaking Luke's brother. They stopped Luke's brother and they sent him back to the woods in episode 1 because there are direct consequences to that later. And it's just never doing things for the sake of doing things, which I feel like we've jumped the shark in Secret Invasion forward on some of the Disney Plus stuff. Not to rag on that, but the boys year after year since the Disney Plus been coming out, it's been coming out at the same time. The Boys is the reminder of the standard of quality that these shows could have, and
Yeah.
they simply don't. But now we got Loki right now. Loki absolutely has that standard of quality.
Right.
know,
We'll
like-
talk more about Loki in a minute, though, because we're gonna do a
Yeah.
whole episode about Loki. So I don't want to like mix our boys to Gen V.
Sorry, guys. My
So
bad.
okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into all this. So what they're doing with a lot of the characters is they're taking your standard tropes and teenage angst issues that we deal with in like CW and Riverdale, where they just treat it more appropriately. Like
Dialing it to 1,000.
dialing it to 1,000. The girl that cuts herself, that's a power. The girl with bulimia or just an eating disorder in general,
Binging disorder. Yeah.
a binging disorder, that's her power. You know what I mean? Like we're going into these different things and amping them to the next level. Even like misgendering in dealing with the parents who won't accept the situation with Jordan is amped up to a totally
Incredible.
different level when Jordan can literally just flip genders.
That is so incredible. And I'm sure there are people that are going to be like, "Oh, he can just stay a boy for his parents." It's like, no, for them inside, and you can, if you want to deal with it in the real world, deal with it in the real world how you see fit, whatever. But in this show, in the confines
Right.
of the show, Jordan is both. Jordan moves through both because when they are a woman, they're a woman. When they're a man, they're a man,
Right.
and they want to be who they are. And it's
But I was gonna say, how do
cool.
you feel about them handling this amped up to 11, the normal things we see in like a teenage drama?
It's so weird. It's so, like you can't deny the like it's first of all, it's already the weirdest scene ever with her going to the toilet and going to throw up, right? That's already like super weird. And then what happens after is even weirder than that. But it's like horrifying on some level. And then you realize that, like, dude, teen girls, not even just teen girls, adult girls, people in sororities and stuff like that, they deal with this constantly. They're put in these
Right.
high pressurized tanks where they need to throw up to lose weight, to be a part of society in the circle. And here she is. You're right. If you're a compound V user, if you're a person who has powers, your options are superhero, reality TV star, movie star. Those are her options. And to get to where she wants to go, she's got to throw up or else she's not marketable enough. I
Right.
also love that she was a YouTuber. I thought that was a really cool angle. It makes a lot of sense. And they didn't play it in a way that I think sometimes on these shows they don't really understand social media and they'll reference it and it like is kind of lame. I believe Cricket would be a pretty popular YouTuber, you know?
Oh yeah.
Superpowers, they shrink, like the whole 9
Okay, if
yards.
anybody had any kind of superpowers, like if they had a real magic, they'd be a superpower. You know?
Yeah, and even the gross guy that was like hooking up with her and he was like, I love to watch you when I was 14 or whatever, stuff like that. That probably tracks for a real YouTuber going on a date with somebody and they
Yeah.
find out that they've been watching them because they've been for our career creators. So that, I mean, I just like the show a lot, man. I'm very happy with it.
So, trying to think of any other major points because we went through all the major stuff, and we don't like to go episode beat by beat because episode beat by beat I just find kind of a bad recap. Of
General Wade Eiling from The Flash season 1 is Brink, which is kind of cool, a little CW tie-in. I just recognize his face really well. Eventually, he's like in the Grodd episodes and stuff, so he's in a lot of the earlier seasons of The Flash, and he plays Brink, and I think he did an awesome job doing that. So if you're a DC fan, that's General Wade Eiling in the Boys universe for you.
Do you think this is going to tie much into the actual boys, or is it just in the universe?
So if you remember last season, Huey is looking through a computer of young people affected by Compound V, like orphans.
Right.
Marie shows up in that image.
Okay, but I mean, the show, I think Gen V was supposed to come out like last year sometime originally.
Whenever it was supposed to, well, on the timeline, I feel like maybe it's falling after the last season of The Boys, unless I'm crazy. It has to. It has to fall past the last season of The Boys because Soldier Boy.
Well, the reveal is out, isn't it? Because they mentioned how Starlight and all them are.
Yeah, so it's happening simultaneously.
Okay,
it's happening at the same time. Like it has to be, because they're even trying to replace people on the 7 at the same time, and they have vacancies.
Yeah, the replace people is 7. You mentioned that Soldier Boy was teased as showing up in the show, so if he's not a background character, you have to do it mid-season.
Yeah. So
otherwise, I mean, Soldier Boy's removed at the end of season 3.
Yeah, I don't even remember how he gets removed. I need to rewatch that. Don't tell me because I got to rewatch it. I'm so excited about it.
It's just It's easy. It's just cryogenic.
Damn it!
Captain America. That's all it is.
He goes back to the freezer.
They put him back in the freezer. That's all they do.
Okay, well then wake him back up, man. Jensen Ackles. It's his goddamn. Well, because Eric Kripke. So for those of you who watched this and felt a little bit of CW nostalgia, not only is it like some actors recurring, whatever. Eric Kripke, the guy who made it, made Supernatural. He show ran Supernatural for ages, and that's like a big part of what leads to the kind of what Benny calls it, like the CW tone escalating into 1,000. Like that's where that comes from. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the show that you get into like the little nitty gritty. So I think this is happening simultaneously. Do I think it'll tie in eventually? I think they have a pretty marketable property that can exist separately, but their interests have to align. Because it's not like,
well, they're still in the same universe. You can't just completely ignore, and that's what I like what they're doing so far. They're not just ignoring The Boys or doing mild mentions. They're like, no, this is the same universe. The Lamplighter School of, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, someone just said they also reference Homelander murdering a protester, which happens last season as well. So, yeah, I agree. They're gonna keep referencing it. I think maybe they'll.
Our chat is stating that they also reference Maeve kills Soldier Boy, which is the fake narrative.
Yeah.
So that would be post season 3 then.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought. That's where I thought it lived on the timeline. So it makes sense. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I think it'll be like back and forth. The kind of because it's airing at a separate enough time that I think all the Boys fans are watching Gen V. There isn't enough of like a discrepancy between like the audience base, you know, versus like depending on the Disney Plus show, they're marketing it for a niche audience or like a PG, like. People who aren't into the more PG stuff would have missed out on Miss Marvel, even though it ties into the movie later. And then that's just one example. This is the same tone, same universe. We're just stepping to a college campus to tell a different story. So I imagine with the success of this, and so far I've seen nothing but success. Everyone's talking about it. People are really excited about it. We'll see more Gen V tied back and forth with the Boys. Gen V is going to stop the underground government whatever and the torturing of powered individuals, while the Boys doesn't necessarily care about that. All they care about is fighting Homelander. They're not worried about Compound V human rights or the purpose of the empowered people. They're worried about stopping the crazy maniacal supervillain Homelander, which Benny quotes an inordinate amount. You shouldn't relate to.
I'm the reaction that I get.
I'm gonna be on your brother's side here. You can't be relating to Homelander. That's a bad idea.
I'm better. I'm faster. I'm stronger.
No. Bad. but I love this show, man.
You don't want me to be you, Hudson. You want me to be better.
No, man. I'm fine if you're me. Chill out a little bit.
I want to talk about this. What did you think about Tech Knight? They're Tony Stark.
Dude, he was so lame. I loved him. Well, like the crazy thing where he like sniffs a little bit and he goes, "How long have you been eating her out?" I was like, "What the hell? Oh my god, why would he say that?" But also the fact that Andre wasn't afraid to like stand up to his dad and just be like, literally, both of you, you guys suck. But he's funny, and the reveal at the end of like you wonder like, is this gonna be the thing? Are they outing everybody? Like, how's this gonna shift? The reveal at the end where he's just like, okay, guys, let's wrap. Go away. And he's slowly walking towards the tree. It's so weird and so funny. I love the actor did a good job. If I could cast anybody else as him, I would cast Sam Rockwell, straight from Iron Man 2. What's his name? What was he? Who did he play in Iron Man 2? Mr. Titanium in the TV shows and cartoons. What was that actor's name?
I know what you're talking about.
Somebody in the chat will know it. Iron Man 2 villain, millionaire, other millionaire in Iron Man 2.
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer. Imagine if he was played by Justin Hammer instead. That would be even funnier. But also, I love the way we did that. Love it. I mean, honest to God, I just like this across the board. Obviously, theory crafting. We're not going to get to talk about this for a few weeks. Probably the show will be done airing by the time we get to it. But
yeah, it's only 8 episodes. When we come back, it'll be on like its 7th episode.
Yeah. It's what do you call it? My brain just spaced out. I read Sal say something on Discord, and my brain just disappeared on my.
Yeah, Sal says you might have meant Whiplash, Mickey Rourke. So.
No, I don't mean Mickey Rourke. I meant Justin Hammer with like the fake spray tan on his hand. I love Sam Rockwell playing him. So what is your theories for what's happening? Because they're all losing their memories now. Like it cuts at the end with them forgetting.
I don't know what they're gonna do with this. We're at episode 4, so we're gonna come back at episode 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wondering if Soldier Boy's not a background character, if that's the facility they're bringing him to.
Ooh, maybe they wake him up. Maybe they wake him up in an effort to do the rest, and then he's like, "Who the woke me up, man?" He has some of the best lines.
But I don't know. I really don't know where they're going to go with this. And I think
they're just doing like
there's no comic book basis for Gen V. There's barely a boys basis for Gen V. So
there's barely a boys basis for most of the plot, considering that they actually just made it so much better from this gratuitous gore fest, which is actually just gross and self-indulgent, to like an incredible series that is also gross and self-indulgent.
I'm looking to see. Yeah, I just Googled to make sure there was no comic for it and that I wasn't wrong.
I think there might be.
There isn't. When I Googled it, it just came up with the show.
Okay, but maybe it was a spin-off comic. Somebody referenced a panel somewhere on TikTok, but I could be just off.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the Boys also does a lot of world building in its comic, and
I think it might have
could just be something that was going.
They might have done Godolkin University in
exactly. That's what I mean. Like these characters could have existed.
So, what are your theories for why they're losing their memories? Because remember, they show us earlier she blacks out by the explosion guy.
And
it's very similar. And then she wakes up. This time she wakes up in bed with Jordan Lee, and they're all in the backyard like, calm down,
they're trying to
Sam.
keep the woods secret. The question is, what are they going to do with Sam?
Well, I think they're going to keep Sam. Sam's awesome, by the way. Oh my God, I love him. He's so funny. He's like a great character. And him and Crickets, I know we just were like wrapping up, but I really like his character. I think they did him, and he feels like Luke's brother, because he's just as charismatic. He's just as witty. He's just a little messed up. And notice what's wrong with him is the same thing that's wrong with
Black Noir.
Black Noir, yeah, the same thing.
Puppets.
Yeah, which is, did I accidentally inspire that on some level by bringing up puppets to the mainstream in the last couple years?
I don't think you did at all, but I'll let you have this.
If I can get Eric Kripke to confirm that I did, Benny, what are you going to give me? What are you going to give me? Huh?
I'll buy Bad Days for $50.
This isn't what I wanted, but okay. I'll take the $50 and I'll keep Bad Days. Yeah. Explosion guy was on Supernatural. That's kind of fun. But the memory thing is what I'm interested in, like what the next episode.
Yeah, I have zero theories and ideas, because they were getting out, they were getting away, and then they all got blacked out, and now we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to bring back Golden Boy somehow?
No.
No. Now that they blacked out, they like changed.
No, I think they're just blacking out and losing time. I think that's just what's happening. Like I think there's some other thing going on. I think they're moving forward along the timeline. I think Sam is still going to be okay. I really like Sam and Emma's dynamic. I think it's very fitting, and she was really calming. I also like that I thought of it as soon as she was explaining how her powers work. She freaking grows by eating. It's awesome.
When she was shrinking by vomiting, I was like, I wonder if she ate a lot, would she grow? And well, we saw that.
Yeah, I love this show. This show is awesome. It's really fun. I was actually, guys, if you want to hear a terrible story, I was on a plane driving back from Baltimore, watching episode 1 like this with my iPad, the brightness down all the way, because in it is a scene of Emma doing something, and I think we all know what scene I'm referring to, with a certain object in with a certain view distance. I don't know. It was gross and it was awful, and I hope nobody on the plane saw what I was watching.
I hope they did. But all right, on that note, guys, we're going to end today's review. As we've said in a couple of videos, we are going on a big break, so you will see the boys' reviews return about 7 or 8. Hassan and I will watch the rest of the series at that point and give you the full rundown. We'll be back very soon on October 30th. Not soon, but we'll be back. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time right here.